Please welcome to the stage Rahul Sharma, Regional Managing Director for Worldwide Public Sector in Asia Pacific and Japan from AWS.
Good morning, everybody, and a warm welcome to the AWS Public Sector Summit, New Delhi. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be here today. My name is Rahul Sharma, and I lead AWS's public sector business across Asia Pacific and Japan. Thank you all for joining us today. It's so good to see the room completely full, and a special warm welcome to everybody on live stream. Thanks for joining us on live stream as well. Today is a really heartening day for me. We've been doing this symposium for about 5 years now, and it's so heartening to see how the conversation has changed over the last 5 years. I remember doing this symposium as the India leader for public sector in 2018, and the conversation that we were having about wild cloud now has become about what more can we do and how soon can we get there. So it's so heartening to see us move to this new level of maturity, and that being led by our public sector and government institutions. So today is a really exciting day. I'm sure many of you have already attended many of our breakouts and chalk talk sessions. We've got more than 18 sessions today across 4 contract tracks. And we have topics including machine learning, AI, we've got migrations, modernizations. There's something here for everybody. It's really exciting content for you, so we encourage you to really get your hands dirty today and experience cloud. We build this agenda based on your feedback, so I hope that you can get something out of today that you really like. This would not be possible without the support of our sponsors, and you can see the list of sponsors here. They've been supporting us through the years, so I encourage you to really go across and engage with them. We have them at our expo hall. You can stop by and see what they have to offer. You can also go across to our Deep Racer hall. I love AWS Deep Racer. I mean, even somebody like me with no experience in machine learning is able to learn reinforced learning through this. I mean, there are kids who really learned reinforcement learning through this. This is a cloud-based 3D racing simulator outside, and it's really exciting. And this is just one example of how AWS is driving customer innovation across AI and machine learning services. And Shalini will speak more about this as we go forward. Now let's talk about why we are here today. The Asia Pacific region across Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, ASEAN, India, South Asia. It's a really exciting region, and we have a huge commitment and investment in this region. According to IMF, this region is going to be the biggest driver of global growth in 2023. And this is led by the innovation and the government-led digital transformation that's happening across countries in this region. If you see the work that's happening in Singapore, if you see the work that's happening in Japan and India, a lot of the innovation is actually led by government. I believe that government leads the adoption of technology. Where else can you find the use cases that really have that deep application of technology at a scale that in India runs across 1 billion people plus? Only government is able to offer that unique opportunity for innovation. And I'm so heartened to see how governments across APJ have been really using this opportunity to engage and do innovation that really impacts citizens have a better life. In Singapore, where I live now, we have the GovTech agency that delivered a digitized government payout with a digital wallet that the government had that enabled more than 900,000 transactions to be done for citizens. We worked with the Singapore Smart Nation and Digital Governments Agency to deliver the world's first dedicated local zone for the government. In Australia, the e-health at New South Wales, we've delivered, we are helping them take their clinical application and critical mission applications to the cloud. We actually enabled a cloud upskilling program for them for more than 1,000 staff, enabling them to move more than 10 mission-critical clinical applications and workloads to the cloud in 2 years. These are real examples of how governments across Asia Pacific and Japan are using cloud to accelerate adoption of technology and innovation and to help our citizens with better lives. Now let's talk about our commitment to the region. We've got 10 regions across Asia Pacific and Japan, over 100 cloud front points of presence, 5 local zones, and we've announced 4 more local zones. We have 2 data center regions in India. We announced the AWS Mumbai data center region in 2017. It was one of the first regions, multinational hyperscaler cloud regions to be empaneled by the Ministry of IT in 2017. In 2022, we also announced the launch of the AWS Hyderabad region. And this gives our customers in India and in this region options to run workloads with even greater resilience and availability. It also helps you securely store data in India and serve end users with low latency. So it's really exciting to see the investment that we are doing is contributing to the GDP of countries across Asia Pacific and Japan, and they create direct and indirect jobs locally, while enabling countries to really unleash innovation. Let's talk a little bit about India. It's a really exciting time to be in India, and I believe this is time to go from India to the world. We believe that India has the potential to be the sandbox of the world for technology for social good. And we are dedicated to creating a world where everyone has an opportunity to live the life of dignity on a healthy planet. And we do this by helping our customers and partners drive social impact. AWS is enabling the democratization of technology and bridging the digital divide. We are working to serve the underrepresented groups. And here in India, we are leading the way by building solutions and bringing them not just for India, but for the world. The Umang app is one that I'd really like to talk about. The government of India has this app that enables more than 1,700 services on its app. And they source these services for more than 300 departments from across the central and local government. I've used the Umang app myself, and it becomes so easy to pull in your data and services from different departments across India. Let's talk about our investment in India. We already talked about the fact that we've got 2 data center regions in India, we've got many CloudFront locations, we've got local zones. We are at the forefront of innovation using the cloud. And we are continuously impressed by the bold visions and efforts that are happening around here for building and inventing. Earlier this year, we announced an additional investment as AWS to bring our total investment in India to 1.36 lakh crores. That's a huge number. That's a big number. 16.4 billion US dollars. And this investment supports approximately 1.3 lakh full-time jobs annually at local businesses. And we don't do this irresponsibly. We believe in sustainability. We believe in making sure that the world is green. we're creating and investing in communities and environments where we live and work. We aim to reach net zero carbon emissions by 2040 by investing in renewable energy. And we are on the path to providing operations with 100% renewable energy by 2025. Across the Asia-Pacific region, we've got 57 renewable energy projects, and out of which 47 are actually here in India. Because of that commitment that we have to India, I'm really glad to say that our Mumbai and Hyderabad regions are 2 regions out of 19 in the world that are that are powered by 100% renewable energy. And that's a huge achievement. We also aim to be water positive by 2030, which means that we will give back more water to the communities that we operate in than we use in our direct operations. And I'm really happy to state that in 2022, 212 Amazon operation facilities achieved water neutrality. So this is all about sustainability and making sure that we operate in a manner that is green. We are also investing in building capability. Skills and capability are really important. And we continuously think about how we can invest in building this capability across the region. In a survey that we did with Gallup, 7 in 10 employees in Asia-Pacific countries said they face digital hiring challenges. Only 8% of the Asia-Pacific workforce use advanced digital skills on the job. And yet, their contribution to the annual gross domestic product is an estimated $934 billion. Think about that. And when you combine all workers that use any level of digital skills, the net economic benefit is in the range of $4.7 trillion. So you can imagine the impact that digital skills can create in an economy. We are constantly working to make sure that we provide access to technical skills and training, and this is a really important endeavor for us. There's something available for everybody. We have cloud computing training and education at scale in more than 200 countries across the world, and we have something for everybody. If you have a need for skilling anytime, we have the AWS Skill Builder. The AWS Skill Builder is a unique online learning center that offers more than 600 self-paced learning digital training courses on demand. If you're new to the cloud, we've got AWS Educate. We've really done some tremendous work with AWS Educate in India. For the unemployed and the underemployed individuals who are looking to really have more skills, we got AWS Restart, which gives an opportunity for you to reskill yourself and get better jobs on the cloud. And we got AWS Academy that really helps you with certifications and deep skilling on AWS. We've also been working across multiple local initiatives for skilling in India that help train the local workforce. For example, and I'm really proud about this, we've trained about 828,000 students from primarily low-income families through the Amazon Future Engineer program. It's a really impactful program that helps youth from 5,000 government schools get training in computer science, machine learning, and AI. In July, the Director General of Training announced that it's collaborating with AWS to upskill students in cloud computing and AI/ML. This will benefit approximately 15,000 students across 15,000 ITIs, industrial training institutes, and 33 national skill training institutes. We've also signed an MOU with the Indian Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities. And this provides upskilling and employment opportunities to tens of thousands of people with disabilities across the country. So, these are really exciting times. We've seen national platforms launch on the cloud in days, millions of learners going online for education and skilling, healthcare becoming more accessible online, and we are only just getting started. This is just the start. I'm so excited to hand the stage over to my colleague Shalini, who runs the India public sector business, who will be talking about the exciting new services and programs that can help you innovate. She will be sharing some really inspiring stories about how public sector customers in India are building replicable and scalable solutions to solve complex problems. And she'll be joined on stage by 2 of our really impactful customers who will share their own stories of their world as they impact the impact that they're driving across India. So once again, a very, very warm welcome. And with that, let's get started. Thank you so much.
Please welcome to the stage Shalini Kapoor, Country Leader and Chief Technologist for Public Sector from AWS India.
Good morning. And hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to have this room here with all our customers and partners and each one of you. So welcome again to the AWS Public Sector Symposium at New Delhi. I'm Shalini Kapoor. I lead the public sector business and also the chief technologist. And today I'm going to tell you stories, customer stories, and some announcements, and some key trends that are happening right here in India. Let's begin. So with our focus on bringing power and prosperity to the people, the main theme is India. And haven't we seen it in the last 6 to 7 weeks? Some of the incredible feats that we have done. Whether it is about Neeraj Chopra winning javelin gold at World Athletic Championships, or about Pragananda, our own Pragi, as we call him, at the World Chess Federation facing Magnus Carlsen. Oh, what a feat it was. And then, I think the cherry on the top, I call it, landing on the moon. A matter of pride for each one of us, and that too on the south side of the moon. Well, talking of space, I would like to share some good news with each one of you. We just signed an MOU with ISRO, and this is about space exploration. About academia getting together, about students learning about space technologies, about space startups, understanding that how they can innovate more. Truly an incredible feat. India builds on AWS, and that's the theme we want to share with you today. There are so many stories where cloud has been used to bring agility, to bring digital transformation, to change the way a government or a public sector organization can bring technology back to life. Today we are talking about, and the Indian government talks about $1 trillion getting invested in just by 2025, and literally $5 trillion by this whole decade, so that a digital transformation can happen right here across all the departments that we have. And AWS helps in building those digital platforms, because we know that cloud can provide that cost savings, that elasticity, that agility that is needed to bring this transformation. And we do it by 3 ways. And I'm going to dive deeper on each one of them, but let's understand. The first is about building national platforms. India is building national platforms, and that's where we want to help. The second is about building vertical solutions and innovating as the need of the customers. And I'll talk more detail about the verticals and the domains. And the third is about bridging the digital divide, so that every citizen in the remotest part of the village is powered with the digital skills that we are imparting. Let's get deeper. And I'll talk about building national platforms. Last year at this forum, we talked to you about how we have built CoWIN with 2.2 billion vaccines. We talked to you about DigiLocker, where we talked about how there is a wallet with each one of you, and it is today powering 189 million plus citizens in the country. But I'm also going to tell you stories about the great work we have done with DigiYatra. Each one of us, I'm sure, would have traveled between airports and seen that how it has enabled and given seamless entry into the airports with fewer queues, with biometric validation right there, and having an easy access and path to the airports. And there is also Samarth, an eGov application by Delhi University, which has been replicated at 200 higher ed education institutes, where they are taking their applications online, helping in the applications of the students, and also helping the faculty, because there are like 6 lakh faculty which is getting helped by just that there is a digital transformation happening right at the university level. That is about building national platforms, taking the scale and touching every university in the country. I'll spend some time on the verticals, the innovation that we are doing with vertical solutions. We truly believe that customers would have requirements and they would come from various sectors like utilities, like education, skilling, space. We talked about space. It could be healthcare. It could be genomics. And when you look at all these industries, you need quick deployments. You need quick solutions to be built by partners and cater to their requirements. And to enable these positive social outcomes, we need those services. And I'll take an example of the Maharashtra State Electricity Distribution Company, which was able to reach out to 27 million people because they migrated not 100 of their applications and they moved their databases services to a managed service. So it's not just one application, it's multiple applications which can move by state departments to make and touch the citizens at large. And what is important for a state department is the multi-availability zone, that it has to be available. For a citizen, it has to be available all the time. So we were able to give 99.5% uptime on these applications. I'll tell you more stories during my talk on some of more vertical solutions that we have built. But let's spend some time right now that how do we help bridging the digital divide, where every citizen has the skills at his or her own hands. The workforce in India needs to build and learn so that they know about cloud technologies, they are enabled about and they are able to touch it in a very user-friendly manner. And an excellent example which comes to my mind is Physics Wala. I'm sure you know the Alak Pandey fame Physics Wala. They were able to bring their classes online for more than 1 lakh students at some point of time, and that too at 4,000 rupees a package, so that every small village student can learn about technology, learn about the courses that they are going through. So it might be physics, chemistry, maths, applying for NEET, applying for JEE. And we helped Physics Wala save operating cost because only cloud can enable what success they have shown in 2 years. So being available on the cloud gives them that power. Now, how do we do this? The 3 things that I talked about, how do we do this? It is through our partners. 1 lakh partners across the globe. And I'm very honored to say that 70% of these partners are outside of USA, right? So the number is, it's important that we understand the number. We nurture and we work with local partners because we know that partners are critical to the success of AWS and success of our customers, because jointly we go to the customers and our customer is the citizen of India. I'll give an example, which is the Mahatma Gandhi University, where we worked with a partner, Ambion Labs, to develop a digital learning platform, reaching students both online as well as classroom. So there are campus-based programs which went online, and they were able to get 40% cost savings just by moving from on-premise to cloud. So today, the education institutes are getting the benefits of the digital transformation and cloud, which gives them the power to do more. And of course, it improved their own management efficiency by 90%. Some more examples which are really close to my heart. I'm very honored to talk about Periwinkle, who have a solution called Smart Scope, which actually does cervical cancer screening for women in rural villages. Getting a cervical cancer screening done at a hospital is a different thing, and not everybody has access to hospitals. Imagine in rural women who do not have the awareness of cervical cancers, but they having accessibility to be able to do that and do the screening in 2 minutes. That's the power of healthcare. That's the power of how our partners can make solutions on AWS to make it make it get benefited, and this has benefited more than 2 lakh women. And there are other partners like our work with Amnex, who have actually developed an intelligent transportation system. And it has benefited almost 1.5 crore citizens in Nashik city. So that's where we are reaching out with partners, because partners can innovate. They can think of new use cases. They are in touch with citizen issues and problems, and they can build on AWS using our services, using our the agility and the cost savings that we provide with cloud. Lot of examples I can carry on, because our theme for today definitely is scaling India to the world. And again, I would repeat that with COVID, we proved that scale can happen. Scale can happen to give 2.2 billion doses on a single day, give, on Prime Minister's birthday, we had, a huge volume. DynamoDB scaled, and it proved that the scale can happen. With DigiLocker, there were literally 6.2 billion documents which were done in a very short period of time, migrated so that each one of us have a wallet, and we can have our certificates on that. So the scale to the world will happen when these applications scale and are seen as a digital public infrastructure from India, which is going global, and multiple countries in the globe want to use and see and the example which India is creating. Well, our next speaker definitely knows a lot about building national platforms, because he has scaled platforms which each one of us have used today. He's the chief architect of Aadhaar, India's national identity digital platform. He's played an integral role in architecting India's digital health infrastructure, vaccination, immunization infrastructure, and United Health Interface. And he is the CTO for EkStep Foundation, and also advisor to multiple digital public infrastructure projects and initiatives in India. Let's hear more from our next speaker, and I'm so privileged to have you here.
Please welcome to the stage Dr. Pramod Varma, Chief Technology Officer from the EkStep Foundation.
So pleasure to be here, and I think we have covered much of India's journey into digital journey, but we have, as Rahul said, we are barely beginning. We have a long way to go, and the real impact is, we'll have to wait and see much more impact in terms of access to healthcare, access to education, access to livelihood opportunities, and so on. India is the most populous nation on earth, 1.4 billion people, and that's huge. That's a good thing. Okay, yeah. Why is a good thing? Because we are also the youngest nation on earth. We are the most youngest nation, very, very aspirational young, and so getting young population opportunity to learn. And Rahul's point about every individual who is being skilled is adding to the digital economy. And so we have 1 billion people, and so doing that is very, very critical for us. But along with that, we are also solve access to healthcare, access to economic opportunities, and so on. So I think we have laid the pathway, and I'm very glad, I'm happy to be here to speak about a little bit of that. I've been part of that journey for the last 12 years. So, but there is some story that people always tend to miss. It's not obvious how we got here, and it is important that we look back and understand what happened in the last 10 years, and what way. They were not mere digitization projects. There was a method to India's madness to bring people together to the digital realm, and that's very, very key to understand. And this is 2009. By the way, in 2009, 17% to be precise, of people had bank accounts in India. That's it. That means more than, 80% of the people out of 1.3 billion then, population had no access whatsoever to banking. Much of you, most of you, probably most of your parents had bank accounts. So you can ask yourself the question, then who are the people who didn't have bank account? So you are all part of the top of the pyramid. Think about it. Our pyramid is so large that we tend to miss that a very, very large population struggle to do the basic, access to basic services. And this is 2009. 2009, we had Android launched, iPhone launched in 2008. Before that, we had cloud computing, of course. The AWS was already live and kicking full scale, starting to scale up. And we had 15 years into internet, 2009, or 15, 16 years. Even then, Indians were struggling. We were struggling to give basic identity to people, have bank accounts people. That's a terrible thing, terrible situation to be. This is the same time India was also spending 50 billion US dollars on direct subsidies. India is a very social welfare state. So we provide a lot of social benefit schemes to people. And at that time, 50, now it's about 80 billion US dollars every year we give to people. Roughly about 500 million people get that, right? 50, 60% of the population. How do you give money to people if you don't know who they are and they don't have a bank account? It's like giving salaries to people who you don't know who they are. I mean, no, all of you get money in your bank account and you take it for granted that's how you get money. That's not how it was. So we had to do a lot since 2009. But fast forward 2020. This is a 2020 report. 2020 report done by Bureau of International Settlements in Basel. It's a central bank of central banks. Reserve Bank of India, RBI, is our central bank, and all the central banks go up to BIS in Basel. BIS studied India's financial inclusion journey and said India would have taken 50 years, 5 decades, to give 80% of the people bank account. That means if we started in 2010, in 2060, we would be still giving bank accounts to people. 2060, okay? Many of us will be dead and gone. We'll be still giving opening bank account. Think about it. But you know how long India took? India took flat 9 years, less than a decade. India achieved more than 85% of the banking inclusion in flat 1 decade. It was amazing to the rest of the world to watch what happened. How did India create a non-linear impact in the system, an exponential change in the system, and not wait for 5 decades to give bank accounts to people? That makes no sense. That's like barely starting, right? So it was very, very key. This non-linearity is what we continue to see subsequently. And this also is another non-linear shift we went through. In 2010, we were on 2G, and then subsequently we were pushing 3G in between, right, as some of you know. And we had in 90s, many of you, at least older people like us, who lived in 90s, apply for 80s and 90s, who apply for a phone connection. It was 10 years to get a phone connection in India, by the way. And then everybody has a phone connection. But we went from 1 GB per capita mobile data consumption per month, 1 GB a month, to 1 GB a day in 1 year. Indians are the largest mobile data consumers in the world, and cheapest, one of the cheapest. So you are all shamelessly using 4G connectivity and watching cricket, right? Nobody hangs around in front of TVs anymore because they're all watching on mobile. Indians are also, that's what I was telling Dom when I met him in the morning, Indians are completely visual audio-visual consumption people. We are not interacting. We are the largest WhatsApp users, but we are the least people who send text messages. We forward random stuff, but we don't type. Indians do not type. If you have seen your drivers and maid, chances are that your maid is sending, "Madam, I'm late," right? Or "I'm not coming today," or something, And like literally sending you voice messages, right? So WhatsApp you use for voice and audio and then forwarding random, right? That's what we do. It's the largest, and YouTube is the largest. 800 million people on YouTube because we banned TikTok, right? So serendipity, good stuff for Google. Somebody is using YouTube. But you'll be surprised. So what is important is that Indians are taking on to the internet very differently from the rest of the world, from developed world. Our way of interacting is going to be voice, Indic language, audio, video, and so on. So watch out for that trend that is completely changing the way we will fill the forms or we'll apply for something on the internet. We also launched UPI, and I happen to have the luxury of being part of the architect team in building UPI. In 2013, we started designing UPI. 2014, we published the spec. 2015, we piloted, and even then nobody knew UPI was coming. In 2016, people asked, why do we need UPI? Actually, people asked, why do we need UPI? Don't we have cards? Don't we have IMPS? Don't we have RTGS? And then boom, right? Last month we did 10 billion transactions on UPI. If any of you are not using UPI, I don't know what you're doing, okay? You're really living under the rock somewhere, right? I mean, maybe completely anti-tech guy or something. Now this is key. What is this different story of UPI? Is the ecosystem story. It's about solution ecosystem story. It's the same thing, right? UPI is a network that is offering innovators ability to build newer way of sending. And we just announced in GFF last month, UPI, or credit card on UPI, credit on UPI, credit card on UPI, offline UPI, completely tap and pay offline UPI. We are yet to see, okay? We are going to see a lot more stuff happening on UPI. But why is it important? Is that UPI changed the way. Again, how do you get 1 billion people? We went from 30 million people doing digital payments in 2016 to 500 million people doing digital payments today. So the 10x growth, these are also non-linear. You will see this non-linearity playing out again and again. Then we digitize businesses. But when we brought GST together, and again, being part of the architect team in GST, we did not unify taxes. So tax unification was key. That was a primary project. But the real result of GST is the digitization of the businesses. That means millions and millions of SMEs, hundreds of millions, businesses are going to be digital today. Their invoices are machine readable. Machine readable, digitally signed invoices coming out. 1 billion invoices. It's like mad what India has done, right? That means that much of people are joining the cloud. That many more people are joining the digital transformation that is going on. And we also brought a unified FASTag, and we're still upgrading our FASTag. If you see, we are going to go all camera-based FASTag from RFID very soon. And AI is going to play, cloud services are going to play big in that actually, right? And we, of course, Shalini talk about DigiLocker. DigiLocker is used 190 or 195, I think last I checked, million users using DigiLocker, and we have not even started. DigiLocker, our target, DigiLocker target is 100 billion verifiable credentials. We are at 6 billion, and we are successful. We are successful, by the way. Don't get me wrong, but we are not yet successful. We have to do much more. There is no reason why you are getting how many of you get salary certificate? Probably many. Salary slip, of course it's called salary slip. PDF attachment. There is no reason, like COVID, you should not see a verifiable QR code on your salary slip in DigiLocker. That would be a change for us. Every certificate, every credential ought to be made verifiable. Then you are empowering the individuals, empowering the people to be able to make portability of their data, portability of their digital footprints, right? That's what's happening. We talked about COVID, brilliant success, and AWS, again, we have people who lost sleep during COVID, but a lot of people lost sleep during COVID, including people who felt sick and people who are supporting, and policymakers, everybody was losing sleep. But you guys pulled off real magic, right? To make that available for 1 billion people twice over to vaccinate 2 billion people, right? That's brilliant, right? No country managed to pull it out. No country managed to pull that off, right? And then we brought largest school education system on something called Sunbird. So Sunbird is an open source stack, and somehow this is a Y key, very, very key for us to do. This also brought resilience to our education. Schools were shut in India. Schooling was not. Schools were shut for 2 years. It's terrible to do that to the children. Children loved it because sitting at home, but parents didn't like it. Nobody wanted to sit at home. But it is important that we do that, right? But the best part, I wanted to announce today, and brilliant job by AWS team, that we are making Sunbird and MOSIP and many of these digital public goods from India to the world. And this is actually right on AWS. Okay? So these AWS solutions are on the public sector marketplace. Now, you saw that in UN last week, UNGA announcement, 100 countries in the next 6 years are going to be implementing digital public infrastructure, DPI. And you guys have to rise up to that challenge. When we rise up, when the ecosystem rises up to the challenge, citizens benefit. Not Indian citizens. 7 billion people around the world are going to benefit. Not the top 1 billion. Ignore them. Rest 7 billion. So make this happen. We need to get lot more. And thank you for AWS. Thank you for doing what you're doing. It's fantastic. We are also disrupting big in credit, logistics, and commerce. And you saw credit lending. India has the lowest credit to GDP ratio. We can get 10,000 crores and run away to London, right? That's easy actually in India. But it's the easy part. But you can't get 10,000 rupees credit in India. That's because the cost of provisioning, cost of trust, cost of engagement is very, very high. So you cannot charge a normal interest rate to an SME when the costs are high and actually give 50,000 rupees because the interest I can earn is not good enough to cover my cost. It's a very simple math of I can't do. What did UPI and Jan Dhan did to villagers? Today, postman can go to every village at the doorstep, do banking. Banks never went to villages. Think about it. Even today, banks never went to villages. But we managed to get banking to villages because of the digital cloud and remote access. We can do the same thing for healthcare. Hospitals and doctors will not go to villages. Trust me. Their children have to study in better schools. Nobody is showing up in villages. None of you are showing up in villages. All of us are in tier 1, tier 2 cities for obvious reasons. But you can get healthcare to villages, banking to villages, education to villages, and also credit. And the credit is the first time in India we are actually able to give a $2 loan instantly with zero paper. Because now we can combine Aadhaar plus eSign plus UPI plus DigiLocker all together to create combinatorial effect in the system to reimagine how solutions could be done. And we are also now completely going crazy. And world is watching what the hell are you guys doing, right? India is actually reimagining commerce. Completely. Saying that commerce cannot be a single platform story. Commerce will be a multi-platform story. It will be as big as internet. Internet is not a single platform. Internet is a network of platforms. And ONDC is creating that network of commerce platforms to reimagine what it means to create direct access to commerce, economic opportunities. We're also doing mobility, transfer. If anyone of you are Bangalore, how many of you, somebody is Bangalore? And have you guys used Namayatri? When you come to next time Bangalore, use Namayatri to book. Namayatri is world's first peer-to-peer mobility network. Auto rickshaw driver and you. No platform in the middle. And it's launched in September last year. It was an experiment, still an experiment. And it took 8 months, roughly about 6 to 6.5 months to get 1 million rides. Next 1 million was in 30 days. And the third 1 million, 21 days. Now every 10 day, 1 million rides are being done. Just in Bangalore. Just in Bangalore. And we are launching this in Calcutta and many other cities. So don't be disappointed, your city is coming. Yatri is coming to you very, very soon. It's reimagining the possibility of what it means to create massive network effects and digital empowerment at the last mile, right? It's very, very key. And it's not only that, it's actually being applied to Paris and Zurich and so on. Many of the European nations are looking at. And imagine now applying AI to it. Have you seen what we can do with Jugalbandi? Did you see that Jugalbandi demos that went on? Search for Jugalbandi, where you can speak in 2 different languages and beautifully, or you can speak to a bot in your local language. This was possible because there was an effort called Bhashini. Bhashini was an effort to democratize AI. This is now available as open source for all of you to innovate on top of your cloud. So when you are on AWS, when you want to build your apps, you want to be able to absolutely embed voice interface. And 22 languages, voice models are available open source to you, free and available for you to innovate. So if you are a solution builder on AWS, you ought to be using it right now. And next 2 years, you will see, next 2 to 3 years, almost every application in India will be voice enabled. And UPI is going to be voice enabled soon, in the next few months. It was already announced. You can actually say, Mera bill bhar do, literally. That's all. It's not a simple voice command. Think about it. Mera, my bill, electricity bill bhar do. That means pay my electricity bill. How does the computer know my? How does it know electricity bill? Which account? I have to type nothing. It's going to completely change. Casually, like to your AI agent, you are saying, just pay my driver's salary. My driver's salary. Who is my driver? That's such contextualization, personalization built to your local language. It's coming thick and fast to you. And if you are not an innovator, if you are not in the middle of that innovation right now on the cloud, you're missing the point. Please go build. Okay, this is going to change. And that's the story of India. India is bridging not everything by government. Let me be very, very clear. Government is not building like BSNL or Air India. We are not going to that world anymore, where government is trying to do the entire thing. Because government cannot do entire thing. It's as simple as that. They can only create the playground. They can only create the impetus for that change. And of course, take care of vulnerable population. That is their care. Biggest care of government, right? So it is important that we don't try to do this. We also make sure that we don't try to do what's on the rightmost, which is outsource the entire thing to private. It doesn't work for us. It'll never work for us. If you want equitable, inclusive, innovation environment, you want to be able to do what we are doing in India, which is the middle path, where you create the playgrounds. Government is creating open playgrounds like UPI, bill payment system, ONDC, CoWIN, DigiYatra, and so on, and allowing you as innovators to build a plethora of applications on top of it. And that takes care of our diversity and scale needs of us. And that brings formalization. This is the reason why India's tax collection grew faster than the GDP. Think about it. That's very unusual. India's tax collection grew faster than the GDP because India is also formalizing. Much of India was living in informal world. No bank account, no identity, all cash, do whatever you want to do. All of us will live in the side, right? And you all live everywhere else. We are finally, in the last decade, bringing millions and millions of people into the formal economy. When that happens, the result of that formalization is access. Access to financial services, access to lending, access to healthcare, formal access that you and I take it for granted. We must provide that in a cost-effective fashion. But the journey has just begun, as Rahul said. I'm also ending with the same statement, saying that you ain't seen nothing yet. Let me put it that way. Let me use that American term. Okay, you ain't seen nothing yet. India is barely beginning, and you will see a massive formalization and massive inclusion of 1 billion people who can participate in the digital economy. That means 100x more solutioning and 100x more growth on your cloud solutions and applications that you're all building today. So watch out for it. Don't copy paste. Go native for India and leverage what AWS is offering. Much of these are actually APIs on the cloud. Okay, so let me put it that way. End that way. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's such a matter of prestige to share the stage with you and learn how history was made and how history will be created together. So thank you so much. Back to innovations. I think all of us are so fueled by the innovations that we have seen and that are going to happen in India, and I'm really waiting for voice commands and more usage of DigiLocker, which can, help each of our degrees and salary certificates be on DigiLocker. Okay. So while talking on innovations, let's talk about what innovations we have done to make things possible in India and on cloud. Just last year, we have done 3,332 updates to our services so that we can give more on cloud. And when I say services, they are analytics, machine learning, databases, storage, compute, Internet of Things, AR, VR, Gen AI, all combined, so that we can give more to our partners, more to our customers. And you get faster and better cloud, and you can innovate even more. While this is happening, it's really important that we listen to the local customers in India, and which is local state governments, our federal agencies, and we do listen to that. So AWS Outposts is one of that service, which actually helps in creating your own AWS services on-premise. For example, Keltron. Keltron is a nodal agency in Kerala, and they are our first Outpost customers because they were very particular about data residency and they wanted it to be close to them. And also they wanted to be clear of where the data is residing. Pretty much local to them, with them. And AWS Outpost does that. It's one kind of service which makes precise control of your data along with you. And there are many such services which we have done by listening to the customers. By the way, 90% of our services are made by what customers tell us. And remaining 10%, we read between the lines. So it's actually with how customers tell us, and we innovate based on that. I'll talk about some of the data services. We all know that data is siloed, exists in so many different needs. There was a time, of course, there was a time when we used to have only RDBMS. I come from those days when I would actually code on RDBMS. But today there are 16 types of different databases. It could be document, it could be images, it could be time series, it could be NoSQL database. So the needs of databases have changed. It's no more those managed services and look at an RDBMS only and just that is the answer to your customer need. You need different kinds of databases. And for that, we have services like AWS OpenSearch service. One great example that we have for that is METI, which is Ministry of Electronics and IT. They wanted to launch API Setu. And Pramod talked about the APIs, that consume APIs. There are so many APIs, there are so many private players working with the government, and they want their APIs to be available. We set up the API Setu on AWS for METI, and it freed up their whole, the whole heavy lifting was done because now all the APIs are available. It's a directory service. In just mere 3 weeks, we did it. That's the power of cloud, which can happen and which can make things faster. Data lakes. A lot of our public sector customers are talking about putting up data lakes now. And while data lakes have been around and people have talked about data warehouses, still in the government departments, putting all the silos together and making it available, that is all possible because cloud is there, and with a secure and in a compliant way. We have services like AWS Lake Formation, which can help in putting all this, great tools and services together. And we have education startups like Adda 24/7 who actually used it to build an application and make a data lake for all the students' interactions which are happening across the various courses. So data lakes are possible today in any of the department that we want to take it to. I talked about the vertical solutions at the start of my keynote, and Health Lake is one service which we launched in the Mumbai region. It is HIPAA compliant. It is aligned to this way health data is stored. As we all know, health data needs to be FHIR compliant, FHIR compliant, and that's what it is. It helps you to store, analyze, collect, and even share health data in a manner which is completely private, secure, and compliant in nature. We all know that Government of India has launched the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission and the PMJ, which helps in building the health claims exchange. This service helps in helping startups and helping organizations to achieve that mission. And one of them is EkCare, who have actually used it to create 3 million Aadhaar IDs, which is a longitudinal health record for the country. That's the change which is happening, where it's a domain solution, it's available in India, in Mumbai region, and it is available for startups to build and start generating those health IDs. Other part that we are working on is helping research organizations. As we all know, when you are doing research, you have huge amount of data. First, the other thing is, many times the data is available because it's so huge, it's terabytes of data. It's available on-premise, but you need cloud technology to burst it, do analysis, come back, and still work on your research capabilities. So we have services like Amazon Lightsail Research, which is specifically for this. You need HPC clusters because it's high computing. You are working maybe on climate action, you are working on genomic research, or you are working on some health related analysis on molecular biology that you need to do. So you need those HPC clusters to be available. And running HPC on AWS actually allows you to burst to the cloud, and you're on when your data is at peak and you want to manage those peaks. We also have Amazon Omics, which is a specific genomic-centric service which enables analysis for bioinformatics and for the India genome data. And I have a great example of a Center for Molecular Biology, where we worked with them. They are working on the Indian genome. They are on Indian Genome Project. They are working on cancer genomes. They are working to see that how genes within us can impact diseases. They can predict diseases. They can make the changes. And when researchers needed to do this, when they moved to cloud, actually, the whole research time takes around like 550 days. It was brought down to just 9 days. 9 days for the researchers, because that's what made the change. They can now focus on their research and not on where to get the data, how to get the data, what to do, and the single view is available to them on a dashboard. Genomics research at national scale is going to change so much for each one of us. In fact, we just concluded a genomics conclave last 2 weeks, one in Delhi and one in Bangalore, where we had all the scientists coming over and talking about this. It was a pleasure. I could not even leave that session. I just lingered on because I was learning so much as to how they are doing the research, and I was so honored to see that their research is actually 98% can be done on cloud today, just because these technologies are available. The other thing which always comes to our mind is security, and security is a top priority, is #1 priority for us. We work with customers on making their data compliant, secure. More than 300 security compliance standards and governance features we are aligned to, and the NIST cybersecurity framework, we completely align to that. Of course, we are MATI impaneled, and we believe that the highest security compliance has to be done. All certifications and accreditations which are needed in that country is what we comply with. And an example of this is that we give actually to the customer, the hardware security encryption keys are actually in hands of the customer. They're out of AWS cloud, and it is possible through our AWS key management service. So we have a service where the customer has the control of the entire data. Another great example, Rahul mentioned about it, but I would like to say is a dedicated local zone. In Singapore, we have GovTech using dedicated local zone where you have it's fully managed by AWS, but it is for the government so that they can meet the stringent regulatory requirements with low latency. Greater resiliency with AWS is about because we have Hyderabad and the Mumbai regions both up for better availability, and customers like Physics Wala are actually available in our Hyderabad region to see it because they want low latency for the students in that region. Both the regions are impaneled. Again, I would say because this is again a proof of how not just we are resilient, available, but also about that METI recognizes that both the regions are meeting the security requirements which are needed for various government departments to utilize them. Now I would like to talk about that how another customer of ours have used the cloud adoption framework. And so I would request my speaker from Government of Madhya Pradesh. He is an IS officer of more than 13 years of experience and has served various districts in capacity of Chief Executive Officer in Zilla Panchayats and District Collector across MP. So let's welcome our next speaker up on stage.
Please welcome to the stage Shri Abhijeet Agrawal, Managing Director, Madhya Pradesh State Electronics Development Corporation, Department of Science and Technology, GoMP.
Good morning to all of you. Thank you AWS for inviting us to present in this August forum. And it's very interesting to meet all the techies people out here and different stakeholders. I'm Abhijeet Agrawal. I'm the Managing Director of MPAC DC. MPAC DC is a state IT company. We almost work like an IT company, have got presence in Bhopal, Indore, now in Noida, trying to scale up even to Hyderabad. And it's an IT company which provides solution to state entities, not just to state government of Madhya Pradesh, but we are outreaching to different states, even government of India. And we have a sense of working like a private company, almost like a private IT company, with a government apathy or like a public apathy and public social sense in mind. So I'll talk about how our journey of cloud has been there. We started with AWS way back in 1819, and we realized that, okay, we are already on cloud. Let's have a framework which gives us a very good sense how to have cloud in our state. The need for cloud adoption is very much evident. Why are we needing the cloud? Scalability, high availability, keeping the pace with new technologies, and how I can place my workloads on the cloud to meet these requirements. And the very important thing, how to be right on the emerging tech platform that the cloud provides us. So that was the major, driving force for us. And what we did, we made a framework, a complete framework to onboard the cloud on different workloads, different application in government of Madhya Pradesh. So we came up with a vision document, the cloud adoption framework. We got even a budget, explaining the government how or why cloud is important for us. So we made a budget line which says that budget for cloud adoption framework. How has been the journey, till date? We have a cloud adoption framework. We impanel METI impanel CSPs. And cloud ready, what is our vision of cloud? We also have got data center, which is almost like 8,000 core plus. So we see a parallel of cloud versus state data center. So we evaluate a lot of workloads, whether it should go on cloud, whether it should go on the data center. So we have something called cloud ready approach, cloud adaptive approach. Now what we actually mean by cloud ready and cloud adaptive, that we evaluate the workloads based on the sensitivity of data, sensitivity of the requirement of the government clients, and we see, and the kind of scalability that we want on the cloud, whether it is required, whether the kind of latency that we see, whether it is required or not, then we move that workload to the cloud while suggesting, because we are almost like a SI, system integrator. So we evaluate those things and we have a very adaptive kind of a thing. And we are also trying to make our application move from serverless architecture to cloud-ready architectures. And we had been using cloud since last 2020, started with small effort in 18-19 and very, very much scalable from 2020. How realization of cloud has benefited us. I'll narrate 3 important applications to the audience. One is a SARA. SARA is a very long acronym. SARA is majorly our digital crop survey. Every land parcel survey we do using geofencing of the land. And in Madhya Pradesh, we have geofenced all the 4.5 crore land parcel on 0.5 meter satellite resolution. And we have got a mobile front face called MP Kisan app, wherein our field formation, which are called patwaris in Madhya Pradesh, they go to the particular farm, they take the photographs, they punch in the data of what is the crop being sown, and this is completely paperless. And it's on the cloud since last 3-4 years, and it has been working fine. I'll just give a small example. Last year, our principal secretary to Chief Minister called me up, rang me up, Abhijeet, can we do Girdavari crop survey in a day? I simply said yes. Why? Because of cloud. Because of we are partner with AWS, and I had a very strong confidence that we can do that. The digital crop survey of 4.5 crore parcel can be done in a day. If a Flipkart big billion sale can be done in a day, then why can't we? What is stopping us not to do that? So why that power or that confidence is coming? Because now systems are highly scalable. All you need is having a good design of the workflows, and then you can, any numbers are immaterialistic now. So that is the SARA application. We are working on the cloud, wherein we have all the land parcel being digitized. Second was Seekho Kamao. This is an internship scheme which was launched on May end this year. And interestingly, I'll tell that we wanted to latch onto a NAPS portal, National Apprenticeship Portal, which is there on the Government of India to provide the internship. But Government of India refused to give us the services. So we made the whole NAPS portal in the state with the name as MMSky Mukhyamantri Seekho Kamao Yojana in 2 months. How? Because we were very much understanding the use case, how this workload can be shifted to the cloud, what was our scalability, and we have started leveraging, as Pramod ji was saying, the benefit of digital goods. We have created a state identity called Samagra, which is there since last 8 to 10 years, and we are leveraging the power of eKYC along with Samagra to make platforms which are seamless, which are intuitive, and very easy and adaptive. And I'll tell you one of the very new innovation that we did on Seekho Kamao, the establishment registration, we just require 2 fields, GSTN and EPF. GSTN to validate all the data fields of that entity, and EPF to validate the number of people that are employed. I don't think any platform in India has ever used EPFO data as a dump to validate any entity in terms of the number of workforce which are employed. So this is the kind of workflows, this is the kind of system we are trying to leverage on the cloud, and this is how we are trying to interact with the clients. Third was Ladli Behna Yojana. This was a scheme which was launched in month of March. 5th, Chief Minister announced this scheme, and he said registration will start from 25th. And the estimated number of people for which the registration had to be done was 1.25 crore women. So we made a platform, we made a workflow, which was, as Pramod ji had said, completely on the platform of JAM, Jandhan, Aadhaar, and mobile, along with our state ID, which is called Samagra. So the registration of women was done using 50,000 simultaneously touch points, which were there in every village, every urban ward, even multiple users in every ward. So we had a concurrency of 50,000 plus users every day, and we had touched almost 7 lakh registration in a day. And we were very much, ready to have even 20 lakh registration in a day. And to everybody's surprise, what we think that women in India are not having Aadhaar, they don't have mobile numbers, OTP to bhool hi jaiye. And Samagra eKYC has actually created a wonder, and this whole application we have not used any account number. Only payment is Aadhaar based payment. And the amount that we have already transferred in last 4 tranches, the first payment was made only in 100 days at the start of scheme. So the scheme was started on 5th of March, registration started on 25th of March, it ended on 30th of April, and we made a registration of 1.25 crore women. Completely Aadhaar based, no data entry was made, completely paperless. And we made the first payment of 1.21 crore because the women had to get their bank account linked with Aadhaar. So the first tranche of payment was made to 1.21 crore out of 1.25. And the payment success was 99.8%. And I will tell a story. My batchmate from Tamil Nadu gave me a call. Boss, मेरे यहाँ भी CM करना चाहते हैं. So, I'll give a comparison. Then he said कि my state is not willing to come on that Aadhaar platform. मैंने कहा जब मैं कर सकता हूँ, why can't you? So this is how, the leverage of the cloud and Jandhan, Aadhaar and mobile. So this jam trinity with the cloud is like a very strong effect that now even has reached to the highest level of unprivileged section that we always can think of. When we were proposing this solution to the highest chief secretary and CM, a lot of people in that room said कि ये possible नहीं. And we have made it possible, and it's a very interesting use case. Why it has been possible? Because we had the scalability in the mind right from the drawboard. That okay, we'll host this complete workload on the cloud, and we'll have a lot of API-based handshaking with different systems. So this is how we are just trying to leverage the cloud as a service and software as a service. What is the most interesting part now we are trying to explore on the cloud is how to leverage different algorithms, different kind of use cases. What are the new available tools on cloud, especially on AWS, so that we leverage them and my GTM reduces. So these are the kind of workloads which are already majorly hosted on AWS, and there are a lot of new cases which are coming up. And we being the central entity in the Madhya Pradesh, we are the one who give cloud services to all the departments which are there in the state. So what are slight amount of some challenges? Since once you start working on the cloud, you need to have a very good, strong management layer that we are working on. What is the future that I see from the cloud? Identity resolution. We have got different data set. I've got 2 crore caste certificates which are digitally generated. How to integrate those caste certificates with the Samagra IDs, wherein you have different slight amount of name changes, slight amount of data variation. How to leverage voice to text. As Pramod ji has said, I'm also running the CM helpline, which is a grievance. And every day we get 80,000 inbound calls Probably this will be one of the largest, call center application as far as the state entities are concerned. So I'm just trying to think about that why we actually require people to call on a call center. Just, as Pramodji mentioned that a driver can give a voice text, sent note. So just somebody coming on WhatsApp or on the mobile app, just doing कि मुझे पानी नहीं आ रहा. Say I'm not getting the electricity or the road has gone bad. Just send a note on that and I should make a complaint and it should start on the workflow of the grievance journey L1, L2, L3, L4. So that is what we are trying to, even I told Abhishek sir that we are trying to engage with Bhashini to have not regional, not language, but otherwise dialect-wise voice contextualization. I have got 6 crore voice notes, voice recording. So we are engaging with Bhashini to have dialect-wise, if somebody calling from Rewa or somebody calling from Indore has a very different contextual meaning. So we are trying to engage with that and we'll try and leverage the cloud services, how best we can optimize for that kind of this. Conversational AI we also make an outbound call to citizen that whether they are satisfied with the complaint closure. So can I make a conversational AI to utilize that service so that I have a more RCA, root cause analysis of my problems? Because having a call center operator talking, say, for 5 minutes is not possible because you have so much of outbound call you have to make. So that is the kind of system we are working on. Video and behavior analytics on different workloads. Even we are trying to now come up with a registry. Land registry will be faceless. We are rolling out this, and we are the system integrator for the IG registration department. And we are trying to have video registry which will be video EKYC based. On the terminals, people will be able to use that. So that is where the video and behavior analytics will come to a picture and a lot of examination. We are trying to implement FRS, face recognition system, and one of the very interesting use case I'll talk about is DG Pass. You have heard DG Yatra? Nobody has heard DG Pass. How many have you been to any Mantralaya? Front row में बहुत सारे officers गए होंगे, AWS के senior management. It takes minimum 2 hours to get access to any Mantralaya. Murthy ji will also vouch for that. If you just go anonymously, it will take at least 2 hours if you are lucky enough. So can we reduce that to a kind of system like DG Yatra? Just request online, officer will accept it and have a feel like that of DG Yatra. Just go, nobody will touching you, nobody will recognize it, system will recognize you. So we've already made a platform called dgpass.mp.gov.in, which will be for office access, secure access, which is face recognition based, which will also be available for event access as well. Suppose this event needs an access control, just put in that hardware, plug into that event, the system will access you. And we are trying to leverage this as a product for the whole nation, for different states government to work with us. So what positioning we are trying to now leverage that? Leverage emerging technology plus cloud to give a productized kind of a thing to different entities. Why not for DG Yatra? DGPass.mp can be DGPass.up also. So this is one of the interesting use case of FRS, and we are also working on the supply chain optimization. I happen to be the managing director before coming to this organization for the Civil Supplies Corporation. The kind of vehicle load and the kind of workload we do in 60 days of public procurement, MSP procurement, we did 130 lakh metric ton of $5 billion of procurement of wheat in 45 days. Can you imagine the kind of operations we do? In 45 days, 130 lakh metric ton. So how to optimize that supply chain? There are good number of warehouses, there are a good number of procurement points. What can be the best possible optimization algorithm that we should use and leverage on the cloud that will actually save a lot of government exchequer money and the public money. So these are the kind of work which we are doing. And one of the very interesting, being a SI, it is very difficult for me to, especially in the government, to convince my people that this takes so much of time. Had this Ladli Behna been given to any private sector, they would have taken at least 6 months. But the expectations are running too high for me. So how to reduce the GTM? Go to market using the right, now low-code, no-code kind of platforms which are available on different systems, and how to leverage the beauty of cloud for scalability and software and algorithm as a service is something which we are envisioning in Madhya Pradesh. That is how the whole idea is, and I'm here till evening. We would very much like to engage with everybody. And in fact, as a government corporation, we are very open to innovation. We are very open to we have got the hardware for DG Pass in my office. So I thought that let's first start from my office, then I'll pitch it to the government. So that is how we are working in the whole country. We have got a lot of orders, lot of requests from other state entities to work for them as SI or to share the products. So I'm also trying to leverage this position, how a state entity or different state entities can share the digital good that is available with each one of them. So that is all from my side. Just I wanted to share this small thing. Thank you.
So thank you. Let's move ahead. And I'd like to talk to you about some new things that, how the future is about AI ML. We have been using AI ML since past 20 years, right? And when I say that, Alexa uses 30 machine learning models to make things happen what it does. Amazon Commerce, it has been using ML, and not just that, our cloud infrastructure. Our cloud infrastructure uses machine learning to decide and to say where the usage would be, how the usage will happen, how the customers will get the best instances with the agility and elasticity that we have today. So essentially, AI ML is, has been there for quite some time, and I keep saying this, that when we talk about Gen AI especially, it's a 10-kilometer run in which the industry has walked only 3 steps. Only 3 steps. There's so much more to do. There's so much more that we can do in this area. We have a breadth of machine learning services, by the way, and I'll give an example of ConvGenius, where we have 53 chatbots, conversational chatbots, and they are working for government school students. They are working in 13 different languages, and it is reducing the IT cost by literally 45%. So you are improving conversational AI, you are improving learning outcomes, and this can scale to 100 million students. That's the power of AI, and we have services in our cloud today. And again, going back to generative AI, which is the talk of the town, it's just getting started. There is so much of advancement which has happened in Gen AI by creating the model and by having multiple parameters. We are talking of billion parameters. Just few years back, we used to talk about million of parameters, but now it's all about billions. But Gen AI is about creating the foundation models, customizing the foundation models, and making it available as per the customer needs. Fine-tuning on Gen AI is becoming more important than anything else. Today, models are there. It's like Swiss knife. You remember Swiss knife? Swiss knife can be used. It has got multiple things within it. But what part you use for what is more important than anything else. And that's why in Gen AI, how you customize your model with your own data without sacrificing the privacy of your own data. Not making the model learn with the data, but actually customizing it for your need is what is important. And that's what we offer. We offer multiplicity of models, variety of models, so that AI can be truly democratized. You can build your own customized foundation model, you can make it faster, and public sector organizations can choose. Today we have a variety of models available. We are doing it through our platform. We had Amazon Bedrock, which we launched, where we give, you can build easily, you can have more performance, and AWS has invested in special silicon. So it's not just about models, it's about the service, it's about the silicon, it's about how you customize. We have Inferentia and Trainium chips, which are purpose-built for doing inferences only for machine learning. You can train better, and you can run AI and ML workloads on it so that it can give you a faster 40% improvement performance time over similar, GPU-based workloads. And you have a flexibility to choose. Like in our Amazon Bedrock, which I talked about, you can have the right silicon, plus you can choose, say, for Anthropy models, Stability Diffusion, AI21, Cohere, and our own Titan models. So we are bringing these models because the use cases are many. It could be text to image, it could be video generation, it could be summarization. There are so many different kind of use cases. So you cannot have one single model for the use case that you want to build. There are multiple use cases, so you need multiple different models, and that choice is available for you to use. And a lot of you have used SageMaker as a platform. You can bring your own foundation models to SageMaker Jumpstart and make them available to your customers for their customization. One great example I would like to say is about Brybooks, which we launched recently. A lot of complaints about generative AI is about that students are doing their homework using Gen AI, and that's what is happening. Brybooks is a great example because it makes a student become an author. So a young student today can become an author because when you are writing a book, you want to know the structure of style and what should be the hook, what should be the ending. This helps young learners to become an author because it has been trained on millions of authored books, and all it is helping students is to become better authors. The idea is of the student. Right? So that's the beauty. It's a 6 billion parameter model which we have customized and trained to give it for the Bryboo agent, which helps all the students. Now, if you are wondering, how do you get started on Gen AI? Of course, there are a lot of courses. They are available on Skill Builder, and I encourage you to please do that because they are free courses which we make available for you to start learning. And don't miss, there is an AI superhero lab outside. You can get your avatar created. I did mine. It looks beautiful and powerful. It looks really nice. So please do that. And you can learn about generative AI as well as do some fun stuff. Coming back to my theme of the day, and I would like to summarize that cloud technology is key in accelerating innovation in India's public sector. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the benefit. You have seen cost savings, you have seen agility. And I'll repeat what Rahul said in the starting. We have built national platforms on the cloud in days. We have brought millions of learners onto our platform. We have made healthcare become accessible online. We have done machine learning so that the government can do the resource optimization very well. And we are just getting started. So that's the start, and I would say that India builds on AWS, and we are just getting started. Thank you to all of you for being the guests today. We want to hear more from you, so that's a QR code where you can say that what more you want to hear from us. Leave your feedback here. And again, just from the thing, do check out the Deep Racer, which Rahul mentioned. There is a good networking reception, a light and glow party, which you should enjoy. And there's a grand prize quiz which happens during that networking reception. So don't miss that out because, there's a chance to win prizes as well. Thank you, and it's great to have you all here. And before I close out, I would just like to welcome Dr. Pramod Varma and Mr. Abhijeet back on the stage so that I can give you a token of appreciation. Thank you.